Okay, Scraft fans, I am back for the second match in the 2018 EMS Scraft League. Hopefully this time I've got my microphone set up properly. I'm at home for this cast, so um, I hope the sound is all okay and you're able to hear me over the noise of the non-stop action that we are bound to have in store. Let's get the players' names up at the top. We have got Louos against Xeminus. I don't even know who these people are. Anyway, Xeminus here in the top right of what map is this? Blue Shift, and in the bottom left, Louos, who is also playing Terran, and both of these players going for very similar sort of setups here. I'm just going to turn the music off because it's annoying me a bit. Um, So Xeminus here deciding to go gas first. Let's get the production tab up in the top left. For those that are new to watching replays and stuff, the production tab, just at any time you can see what each of the players is building up in here. And that's a useful thing. Probably also worth pointing out in the top right, I can see both the players' current mineral stash, gas stash, and where they're at supply-wise. The other things that I guess I should tell you about for when you're watching replays. This is a bit of a weird opening. I will come back to that in just a minute. The other things I suppose that I could point out to you. I don't know. I was going to tell you something, but who knows what it was. It slipped my mind. I can press all sorts of buttons. I can get the players' APMs up on there. I can get the production tab. I can get the units tab. I can get the upgrades tab. I can get the spending tab. There's a list. There's a whole list of stuff and gubbins that I can get. Oh, he's nabbed him. Look, he's nabbed him. So the production tab is probably the most useful thing for us to have at present. So Xeminus dispatching his opponent's scout pretty easily there, has not done any scouting whatsoever himself. So if I press the V button there, we can see Xeminus's vision is 0 of that side of the map. Whereas Louos has at the very least been as far as the top of his opponent's ramp and knows that his opponent has got some things there. So, Xeminus with the barracks building a reactor and the factory following it up. This Reaper, let's see what it gets done. Pretty common Terran opening to build a Reaper early on, get it into your opponent's base. The key to the Reaper opening is you want to keep the Reaper alive if you possibly can. If the Reaper is alive, you can, Reapers are really fast. This thing cannot be caught. So if you can keep it alive, it's really valuable for scouting. Look, manages to kill the Marine, and that's great, and gets an SCV kill. So really you want to be a bit careless to leave it standing still and be killed by SCVs. If you can keep that Reaper alive, then it is great for nipping in a little bit. In a minute's time you can jump back in, have a look, see what sort of tech is being built, and jump back out again. But Xeminus losing the Reaper, but did get a Marine and an SCV for his troubles. So there you can see that a couple of workers have been killed. Is that going to make a difference to the income tab? Interestingly, no. Louos has presumably done a slightly better job of continually making workers than Xeminus and has got the income advantage. Although I notice neither player is currently making workers and neither player has got their main base saturated. So for new players, to be honest, unless you're doing some really wonky build, in general you don't ever stop building workers until you've got like 3 bases saturated. Then you can kind of go, right, enough's enough. When you've got about 60 workers on the map, stop building workers. Until then, you should always be building workers. As I said, unless you're doing some sort of crazy timing rush. But it doesn't look like either of these players is going for anything that extreme. So Xeminus coming for another scout here with this SCV, so we'll probably get far enough in here because this bunker is going to shoot it pretty quickly, but we'll probably get is he scouting? Maybe he's just going to check over here, but he's not. Look, he's coming to drop a couple of barracks over here. So already this game is looking kind of unusual and interesting. I did notice a while ago Louos opened with an engineering bay, and that's not something really that you ever see. As a general rule, the first thing you build is and should be a production structure. If you're Terran, that's a barracks, so supply depot, then barracks. If you're Protoss, it's a pylon into gateway. Okay, who's scanned what? There we go. So this scan for Xeminus goes down at the top of the ramp here, and he sees everything. These Cyclones really good at taking out buildings. Look how quickly they can kill this stuff. Now, doesn't necessarily want to get involved in a fight here, because if these workers are repairing, this bunker will last a long time. Without the workers repairing, though, I don't know, this is going to be pretty close, but I think Xeminus is going to lose everything if he stays. But, you know, reasonable damage done. If I check the units killed tab, you can see Xeminus has killed 7 units. And got a good look at what its opponent is doing. Checking the army supply, things pretty even, work your supply pretty even. So this is looking a reasonably well balanced matchup at present. I am curious about what these barracks are doing over here. You know, normally if you build a proxy barracks, you do it right at the start of the game. Now, interestingly, this sensor tower gives Louos not quite vision, but it tells him that there are enemy units here, but he cannot tell what they are. He cannot tell that these are in fact buildings. He can only see them as blobs, and those blobs could be units or they could be buildings. So he doesn't know for sure, but he knows that there's something there. Now, a couple of things worrying me at present. Louos, you know that there's something there, but you haven't gone to check out what it is. And really, you should, you must. If you know that something is lurking there, you need to find out what it is. Army supply in favour of Xeminus, and these Cyclones are remarkably sturdy units. If they push in here, these Hellions aren't very effective against Cyclones, and this bunker that's already taken some damage is already weakened. So Louos really needs to pull these workers and get them repairing this. One thing that you can do is park a worker somewhere and right click the R button here, and that will autocast. But let's see what happens when this engagement, that damaged bunker goes down very quickly indeed. A lot of Louos' units not really shooting, but now that they have started shooting, these Cyclones are definitely beginning to soften up. Yeah, unfortunately, Hellions just don't do enough DPS against things like Cyclones, but they are very good against things like Marines. So raises this bunker, but I think he is out of army. It's down to 3 army supply, 31 for Xeminus. Xeminus is just going to walk on in here, and nothing can contend this. And there's the GG from Louos. Very nice, good game.